Hey guys, this is Marty Angler from Angling Waters Outdoors, and you're listening to my pally, Manny Moonraker, right here on UFO Plus Radio Network. Hey Manny, you know why I fish at night? Can you say UFO? UFO. That's right.
What's going on, folks? It's your main man, Manny Moonraker here, and I've been in hiatus, gone for a while, but you know what? I'm back. I'm here hanging out with you guys. I was moving, and I swear to you that it took about maybe 5 or 6 days for me to actually find the microphone in order to record this episode, but I finally found it. Now, I do have some plans for someone to come on here and talk to us regarding a perspective they have when it comes to UFOs. And it was supposed to be this week, but for some reason, I couldn't find the mic. So, my apologies to you, sir. We'll get back to you next week. We'll have a guest to talk about that perspective, and it'll be a live show, and we can get this thing back on the road again. But with that said, this is an episode. We're here to talk about some stuff, some shit, some UFO nonsense. And there isn't any. Yeah, I said it. There isn't a damn thing to talk about. And to be honest, I've been watching, listening, talking, polling, because that's all I could do. All I could do is send out polls on Google+. And I tried a few on Facebook, but people just were not responding on Facebook or Twitter. But for some reason, Google Plus has all the people interacting and really getting involved in the conversation and putting their perspective out there. I mean, they're not afraid to talk about this shit. I mean, ufology, what the hell is going on? You're dying. You're dying a miserable death. And nobody gives a shit on the other social networks. But on Google Plus, I found a few people that want to talk about it, are not afraid to share their experiences. And on top of that, I mean, come on. If you answer a poll, you're at least putting your information out there and showing that you give two shits about the topic. And hell, I put the poll together, so I give 2 or 3 shits about the topic. So follow me on Google Plus Manny Moonraker. I'm putting out polls, if not almost every day to every other day, depending on what's going on in the news. A lot of the stories lately have been about, let's say, the death of ufology. All the shit that's been going on in ufology and MUFON, basically, and all the people dropping out of the MUFON network and all that kind of nonsense. But it is what it is, right? We have this idea, or I do, and some of the other people that I've been chatting with, that maybe To the Stars Academy and Bigelow kind of signed the beginning of the end for ufology and MUFON also. And just to give you an idea, I did ask a poll question regarding MUFON, because they had that story. Negative information, of course, coming out in MUFON. It's not bad. It's bad enough that last year they decided to do the symposium on the secret space program headlined by Corey Good. I was about to say Kerry Good. Fuck it. Who cares what his name is? It's Good, Mr. Good. And, that almost seemed to start the downward spiral for MUFON and really just ufology in general. But basically, 78% of the respondents said it's time for MUFON to hit the road. 22% believe that they might still have a little bit of fire left in them. And I don't know. They could. Right now there's another symposium being planned by them in July, which is actually part of the story we're going to go over today after I get through this chewing the fat and talking a lot of bullshit about what I do on Google+. But anyway, it was a poll that I put out there and people answered, and that's the way they felt. MUFON, it's kind of time to move on. We need someone else to grab onto the reins and figure out what the hell's going on in this whole ufology nonsense. Now, there was a second poll that I actually put out about 3 days ago, and this one was very fascinating because we get into this conversation about ancient aliens. And, that whole meme that everyone puts out with what that guy, Zucolo, the hairy guy, the hair standing up guy. And, there's that poll, that meme, and he says, yes, they are aliens. And it's basically referring to ancient aliens. So there was an article which came out, and the article pretty much was about ancient aliens on Earth and how we constantly come across this topic about, ancient cave drawings and artifacts, just being left by ancient civilizations, which kind of depict what we see today as a gray alien or a UFO or, basically some shit falling out of the sky that looks like a ship, not necessarily something that would have been flying around that time. This poll actually received a significant amount of respondents. We're talking over 230 people responded to this just to say 89% believe that all of these drawings that you see from ancient civilizations that depict something that looks like a gray or a flying ship, that these are really these ancient civilizations sharing their perspective of what they saw, what we consider today to be an ET or a UFO. And to be honest, that perspective, it kind of surprised me because it's weird because when you talk to people, well, they have a hard enough time dealing with UFOs now. And a lot of those same people have a hard enough time thinking that the same things that we see today were around, 1 to 2,000 years ago. And if that's the case, if 89% of these respondents feel that way, then what the heck is going on? I would think from my perspective that we really don't even need ufology at this point because it's kind of been proven, right? If you have the same type of craft that people are seeing now and they're reporting it 2,000 years ago in their cave drawings, what the fuck are you looking for? The evidence is there. Where's the discussion at? What are we talking about? Why do we even bother with Bigelow and To the Stars? Who cares about the MOD? Who cares about the government? We've got cave drawings, goddammit. These people sat around basically making freaking paint from, veggies and shit like that, or blood or whatever, to put it on their cave drawings to show us what the fuck was flying around, and we're still listening to Bigelow. The question really then becomes, are there really UFOs? Are there really ETs? Or is it that we're just really ignoring it? Maybe we just don't want to know. Maybe it's easier to continue to crash into that proverbial concrete wall head first every single time and have somebody stab you in the nuts or something and continue to rubber dick you, rather than accept the fact that, yeah, there's shit flying all over the place. It's not man-made. And so we need to wake up and smell the coffee and get to work on this. If people 2,000 years ago were kind enough to draw that shit on the wall, I mean, they could have put their name up, a little bit of graffiti. But they decided to draw a bunch of aliens. And we're deciding to ignore all that shit because it means nothing to us right now because we know more. We have technology. We have cell phones. We have FLIR cameras. We have the military that uses every bit of technology and still cannot identify what they're looking at. So listen, yeah, you got to make the call on this. Do we need ufology? I mean, the shit's already been answered. It really is time to just pull yourself up by your big girl panties and try to figure out exactly what it is. What are we exactly looking at? Because apparently this shit's been around for a long time. We just don't give two fucks to get to the real answer. We'd rather have someone rubber dick us day in and day out. Anyway, so those were my polls that I had on Google+, and there's a lot more. You can go on there and participate, put your own opinion. And let me tell you, some of these discussions will go on all day long. People talking about the poll, the articles. So every poll, I attach an article to it so you can, check out the article and then answer the poll, give your opinion, and have that open discussion. Like I said, the people on that social network have been very friendly and very open to the conversation. And I did have that one Anunnaki god, and he disappeared. He went away. I'm sorry I scared him away, or he got mad because things just wasn't going his way. So I guess he went to find some other fallen angel to fuck around with. But in the meantime, I've got this article. Now, this article is one of those by our little friend Cheryl Costa from the Syracuse News. And oh lordy, people, oh lordy, it's not a significant story, but there's a part of it that's fascinating. So really, the meat of the article is that it's asking whether or not UFO and paranormal conferences, if they are obsolete. And of course, it's by Cheryl Costa. And we've tried to get her on the show several times. It's weird because the first time that we contacted her, she had this big thing about the fact that the podcast was called UFO Buster Radio. I mean, come on, for real. I mean, come on. Let's be honest. If the word Buster drives you away from the conversation, what the fuck are you really about? But anyway, I'm not going to shit on her parade. It is what it is, because apparently Cheryl Costa was named the Researcher of the Year for 2018 by the International UFO Conference. Okay, listen, the thing that I like about Cheryl Costa is the fact that she is really, she's really data driven. So she doesn't just talk a bunch of crap in her articles. She's data driven. She presents data to kind of show what the deal is with this, UFO craziness. But anyway, the article that she's talking about is basically whether or not these UFO conferences are just pretty much stick a nail in them and bury them because they're not doing well. One thing that she points out to, which apparently she is going to be a part of, is the 2018 MUFON Symposium, which is going to be July 27th through the 29th. In here, MUFON has decided to offer that Friday for free. So you basically get to go on Friday and have a free event, basically, to and really is aimed to get more people to go because, apparently things are not going too well. But then she also points out two other UFO conferences, like the International UFO Conference in Arizona, which apparently is doing very well. Their audiences continue to grow year over year. Part of the problem that she's pointing at is the fact that the internet's around. And let's be honest, the internet is full of a lot of crazy shit, especially when it comes to UFO and ETs. But it's the go-to. It's on your phone, it's on your computer, it's on your television. You can pretty much search the internet through anything. And so why would you need to go to a UFO conference to listen to rubber dickers trying to sell you a book or trying to sell you their latest video, when there's plenty of rubber dickers putting videos on YouTube for free? AKA Secure Team 10, Third Phase of Moon, and everybody else, including myself. So that's her story. Now, the other thing, too, that she points out in this article, which I'll have linked in the description for you, is that millennials apparently believe in UFOs. They accept it. Done deal. Bada bing, bada boom. UFOs are real. Well, shit. Knowing is half the battle. But she also notes that in their acceptance, millennials don't do anything else. That's it. UFOs are real, great. Now, where do I get my latte? That's what she's pointing to at in this article, that basically, while millennials believe in UFOs wholeheartedly, they give two shits about really finding out what the hell they are. And so therefore, there is no need for them to go past what's on the internet, and they really don't give a damn about leaving Starbucks to go to a UFO conference to listen to rubber dickers or anybody there that might have an actual real story. So Cheryl says that while she thinks, or the article is about, basically conferences going to hell in a handbasket, she believes that the reason why they're going to survive is because they have a quote-unquote pulse. And I think what she means by that is that there's real people there, real experiencers. There's people there telling their story, but I can always catch that the following week on YouTube and not have to be in there dealing with, the people that are less than favorable, like the Corey Goods of the world. So personally, my opinion is, it really does seem like there is a part of ufology in the last maybe 6-7 months that really, it's really starting to die for some reason. There's a topic here that it's taken a few significant blows. As a matter of fact, I saw an article the other day that talked about how does To the Stars Academy recover from screwing up so bad in their initial offering and the information they provided. It is going to take a lot of work, and I think To the Stars knows that, and that's why they're being pretty quiet. There's no big to do. Hopefully, they'll get something together. But the problem here is that ufology seems to continuously take a hit, one after another, and now it looks like MUFON might be going down the same route. So you guys, what's your opinion? What do you think? Is MUFON coming to an end? Is ufology finally biting the dust in the next couple of years? And if it does, who's going to replace it? Are we only going to depend on rich people like Bigelow and To the Stars Academy to guide us to what they think is really the UFO story? And you can even take that a step further, because other articles point to the Stars and Bigelow really being more entrenched in the government perspective in their story of how they want to control the ufology topic. And they are basically instruments and extensions of not disinformation, but the slow churning disclosure that seems to be happening at an extremely slow rate. I don't know about you. This is all just too much. Hopefully next week I'll be back with an interview. I'll get in touch with my peeps. I think the perspective that they want to share is really fascinating. I think you guys will like it. And it's better than having to sit here and talk about the craziness that's not happening right now, because things are really quiet. But if you get a chance, check me out on Facebook. Facebook page is Manny Moonraker, UFO Buster Radio. On Twitter, at UFO Buster Radio. On Instagram, Manny Moonraker. And don't forget, on Google Plus, check out some of the polls and articles at Plus Manny Moonraker. With that, I say ciao, adieu, hasta mañana. I'll catch you next week. Sayonara.